2021 is coming. How do we set goals and how do we make sure we achieve them? I am going to do my absolute utmost to tell you why you should watch a 1 hour long video. Now, before you switch off, let me tell you why. In this video, you are going to have the exact same goal setting exercise that I did back in 2003 when I was sad, desperate, lonely. My life was not working as well as I would like at all. Therefore, I was addicted to certain things, food, drink, even sex, relationships. I'm just trying to find some words to say why you should watch this video. This video, what's in this video, changed my life completely. And it's a tutorial, it's a course, it's a seminar, it's a live video recording of my presentation last January at the beginning of 2020. And it has a series of questions in it, about 14 questions for you to answer. And when you've reflected back on 2020 and set your goals for 2021 and got yourself in a place of certainty that you believe you're going to actually achieve them, then I will have achieved my goal, which is to get you to watch this 1 hour video. I know it's a long time, but get yourself a cup of tea, get yourself a cup of coffee and some water, get yourself comfortable and watch this 1 hour video. I promise you, if you're in any way beneath a 10 out of 10 in your life, in any area of your life, fitness, health, finances, relationships, anything, this video will change your life. So without further ado, and by the way, if this is the first time you have watched this video with me, my name's Nikki V. I haven't even introduced myself. Nikki V from the 10-10 movement, here to assist you to get from struggle to success in any area of your life. Okay. Now, if this is your first time with me, before you watch the video or do it at the end, press subscribe, press the notification bell, and then you will get more of these kind of videos. If you want to comment on that video, if you want to comment and tell me how it's worked for you, please do that. And I wish for you, as I say at the end of the video, all your dreams, all your goals coming true, all your dreams, all your goals coming true for you in 2021. See you on the video. It's been a hard day's night. Anybody heard that? And I've been working like a dog. Anybody here, raise your hand if you feel like it's been a hard day's night and you've been working like a dog. Yes. Do you know, once I was speaking in at an event, and how amazing is my husband? How amazing is my son? No, stop it. And I said to Tony, I want some music to come on to. So Tony went, because it's our generation, the Beatles. And I said, look, I was teaching people to get from a 0, a 1 out of 2, 2 or 3, 0, 1, 2, 3 out of 10 life by asking themselves great questions, which is what we're going to do now. And Tony suggested, all you need is love. And I went, no. Because you'll have heard Nick say, and one of my absolute beliefs is, well, he told you that, I told you also that my mentor was Tony Robbins for the last 25 years. Well, I haven't seen him for years, but I started off with him. And he has one saying which changed my life completely, and I hope will change yours when I share it with you now, which is that people will do so much more to move away from pain than they will ever do to go towards pleasure. Let me repeat that, write it down, because this will change your life
And if you're looking to assist others by having a business, what Nick's been telling you all that time is, yes, you might have an expertise in some subject, but if you don't find out what people's pain is, nothing's going to work. So people will do so much more to move away from pain than they will ever do to go towards pleasure. And that absolutely changed my life, which is why instead of going, all you need is love, da, 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 you know the thing, I went, it's been a hard day's night and I've been working like a dog. So let me give you some background before we get on to the work. Nick was telling you I was not in a good place. So let me tell you the truth. I've been with Robbins a long time. I'd learned a load of great personal development. And so I was doing pretty well. I'd come from a corporate background. And from what I'd learned, I earned 6 figures in my first year as a corporate coach. Thank you. The next book you're going to love. Without an office, a brochure, a website, well, they didn't have them back then anyway, really much, and I didn't even have a business card. All I did was just be me and go, this is what I know about, this is what I want to help. So I was doing pretty well, okay? But as he said, and as I know many of you in this room will feel, I felt desperately sad, lonely, even though I had this great job and by the time I was corporate coaching in the city. I had money, I had a nice car. I just felt so sad and lonely. Anybody ever been in a relationship but still felt lonely? Anybody ever had like the money they want and still felt sad? You see, so we need the whole of our life to work. And I'm going to say something. I don't know whether Nick's mentioned he's got 2 gorgeous boys. And I was talking to somebody earlier, and I was saying, you see, if we want our children and our grandchildren, that's where I am now as a grandmother, we have to show them how to be healthy, happy, and fulfilled, as my husband would say. So we have to go there first. And so, as I said, I've been in the personal development world, and the first thing I did when I came home from one of the trips I went to Hawaii, as Nick was saying, is I started a personal development group in Birmingham called the Yes Group. Anybody heard of the Yes Group? It's like, yeah, cool. And I started the Birmingham one in 1996, and so I was loving it, doing well, but dying inside. You know what I mean by that? Okay. And so I then was working in London a lot, so I handed over to this guy, I can't remember his name now. No, well, it'll come to me later. I handed over to this guy the running of the Yes Group in Birmingham. And I saw in the thing that in the January, the beginning of January, just like we are now, that he was doing something called Best Year Yet. And I remember coming in, and because I didn't want to because a lot of people knew me, I didn't want to sort of take his, steal his thunder, so I sat right at the back of the room. And he had this book, Best Year Yet by Jenny Ditzer. And he started going through the questions that I'm going to take you through now. And as Nick said, the book is called 10 Questions That Will Change Your Life. Those of you who know me will know that it's now got 15, and some of those are double whammies. So we need to accelerate. So I'm going to time this. Nick's told me not to rush this. Can't see him. Dangerous thing to say to me. But I'm conscious of this being the last session, and I want to serve you as best I can, because we truly do believe as a family that this could be the very thing after all you've heard. And it's the perfect thing. I wondered when Nick said to me he was going to do this last. I actually believe now that he was right. Did you hear that? First time in 37 years. You were right. Because this is the culmination of everything we've talked about for 2 days. Everything that Ryan's talked about, everything that Nick's talked about, everything that Tony's talked about, Matt. the culmination. So I'm going to rattle through these questions, but we're going to take some time to answer them. Okay. And I'll tell you a little bit about my story as I go along, because what happened that time, well, I don't believe I'd be standing here, because, by the way, I missed something. What do human beings do when they feel sad and lonely? Drink, eat, hide, fornicate, drugs, sugar, gambling. Anybody got any more? TV. I did all of those. No, I'm serious. Seriously. Well, yeah, probably. Anyway, and therefore my body was in very poor energy. I'd even say toxic. And therefore, I don't know whether Tony talked about it or Nick, but, I have a great belief that, there are 3 parts of our life. Tony, did you talk about the 3, Okay, cool. So, like, the 3 parts of our lives is what we eat or what we drink, what we think, and our environment. And I had quite a lot of money, well, mainly because of my beliefs, because money is for spending, that's right. So like Nick, I taught him well, I had money, plenty more where that came from, but my environment wasn't good. My inner environment was very poor, and my thinking was poor as well. And so if this resounds with any of you, I really urge you to use this time now to allow yourself to vision. Allow yourself to dream of what this year could be for you. And you've had a whole load of information, and I know you've been thinking. I know you've been thinking about, well, could it be possible that I could, like Nick's gone, get to 50K, get to 6 figures, get to 7 figures. Could it be possible that I could work on my thinking and my beliefs, as Tony and as Ryan said? And I know that those of you whose bodies are not supporting them with energy will be thinking about how to get into a fitter, healthier place. So we're going to work on the whole of your lives, and we're going to do that by answering these questions. So I've got some of my team, and obviously it's up to you whether you're typing or phoning or anything, but I've got my team with some paper and pens. If you just raise your hand if you want paper and pens, if you want some, yes, please, just bring them out. Keep your hand up, please, until you've got the books. That's great. And what I'll do is I will go to the first slide, I think. So the first question is a reflection. So a lot of goal setting, I know a lot of you have been in goal setting, one here please, in goal setting is that actually a lot of the time we're just setting goals. What we're going to do is we're going to review last year. Now that might be difficult at some points, but I'll be here to support you, because I wanted you to make sure that we're thinking, looking back at a review. Tony says, the only good reason to look back is to see how far we've come. So let's look back. So the first slide, so it's 15 questions. Nikki V, KISS. Anybody who has any challenges with any of this? By the way, if you are in any way stuck during this process, or if you anyway need some help, just raise your hand. Tony V will come. Who else have I got out there? Yeah, Tony V will come. So the first question is, what were your biggest achievements in 2019? What were your biggest achievements in 2019? And Sandra, if you can put some music on, but just underneath, because I'm going to speak a little bit too. Thank you. So maybe this was in your health or your fitness. Maybe your You achieved great things in your finances, or you went to the next level of your finances. What did you achieve in your business? Let's focus on what you achieved. And if your mind starts to run to what didn't work so well, let's just let that go just for a moment while we think about what you've achieved. What have you achieved with your family? Or your social life? Your personal development or your spiritual development? Your home, your environment. Maybe you've traveled and you've achieved something, you've gone somewhere that you always wanted to go. Maybe you've found your purpose. Maybe you had a vision last year of what could be achieved, and you achieved it. Maybe you managed to give something up or let something go. Maybe you let go of some weight, or you let go of a relationship that wasn't healthy for you. What were your biggest achievements in 2019? And because I know if people are going to be at different speeds, just remember you can come back to this at any time and add things on. Okay, Sandra, that's fine, thank you. So our next question. I love it when we do this. This was the first year that we did it with Nick's 6-year-old. And we said, what were your magic moments, Ty, last year? And he reeled off all our birthdays. That was all. That was his list. What were your magic moments in 2019? This is my favorite song.
This magic moment, so different and so new, was like any other until I kissed you, and then it happened. It took me by surprise. I knew that you felt it too, by the look in your eyes, sweeter than wine, softer than the summer night. Everything I want, I have.
Oh, those magic
Whenever
moments.
I hold you tight, this magic moment.
Maybe you had a surprise,
While
or
your
just that
lips are
one
close
moment
to
that
mine
moved you amazingly.
forever.
Let's remember it. Let's remember it. Let's hold it here, really close to us, because it's that it will inspire us for next year. Was it something that you achieved and you just now remembered? You said what you achieved, but now you remember the exact moment when you felt it. In any part of your life, family, social, business, health, fitness, travel, whatever. What were your magic moments?
Everything I want, I have. Whenever I hold you tight, this magic moment, while your lips are close to mine, will last forever. Forever till the end of time. Oh, magic moment, magic moment.
Now, this is one of the parts of Best Year Yet that I love. It's not in any other goal-setting exercises or anything I've ever come across. And it's asking us to look at our roles. Now, I've put on there, kind of what hats do you wear, what roles do you play. This could be anything from mom, son, daughter, leader, mentor, coach, auntie, grandma, wife, husband, lover. What significant, the word being significant roles, did you play in 2019? What are the first, interesting to notice, what are the first ones that come into your mind? I did this, as you know, over Christmas and New Year, and I wrote down my significant roles, and then Nick's wife, Natty, she said, and what about you being a sister? Well, I have a fabulous brother, and I'd just completely forgotten about the role of sister. But I kind of went, that's okay, because we have a great relationship, and we don't see each other that often. But it wasn't significant. What we want to do now is think of the significant roles we play so that we can look at them a little bit more. So think back to 2019. What were the significant roles I played? And it might have been athlete, it might be leader, it might be coach, it might be mentor, or it might be a family role. What were the significant roles? And for those of you who are really fast-paced, I'm going to give you the next question as well. So as you look at the roles, and if you're still writing roles, just carry on, that's absolutely fine. On a scale of 0 to 10, 0 being not well at all, and 10 being very well, what score would you give as to how you played each role? So scale 0 to 10, 0, not very well. So say you took, well, I'll give you mine. My mom's 93, Nick's grandma. She's 93, and she lives with Tony and I. And I wrote down daughter, because she may not be with us much longer. I wrote down daughter, and then I came to this question, and I went, on a scale 0 to 10, 0 being not very well, and 10 being really well. I could only give myself a 7.5. And I thought, yeah, that's okay. It's okay, but it helped me decide when we get to the next few questions what I needed to do differently. So all we're doing at the moment is just defining those roles and just getting a score, okay? As we're still looking back at 2019 here, looking at our roles and scale 0 to 10. And when we get into 2020, let's do some sharing and get hearing, but I think that, just reflecting back is quite a private thing, so let's just go from there. So just checking in, anybody need more time thinking about those roles or the scale 0 to 10? No? Good. Okay, the toughie. What were your biggest disappointments in 2019? What were your biggest disappointments? And it reminds me a little bit of people used to say to me, but I thought Tony Robbins was all about positive, 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 and well, he would say different. He would say if we're not truthful with ourselves as to what we've set out to do, but maybe haven't been able to achieve or follow through on, we need to be as truth with ourselves. Often people have asked me if there was one thing that has made all the difference to me over the last 25 years. I always have the same answer. It's the conversation I have with myself. Am I prepared to tell myself the truth about where I am? And yeah, disappointment's a funny word to use, but sometimes we just need to look at it. We don't need to spend a whole load of time on it. I want to get on to the good stuff. And the next question. What lessons did you learn? This is different than disappointments, isn't it? Often when we look at the disappointments, we realize that some of those are really critical things that we need to focus on. Instead of just leaving them and going, well, that was that last year, and let me get really positive about this year, let's just look at those and what lessons we learned from them, just so that we embody and just take in what the lessons were. Those of you who were with us at the last event at the Expert Empires were with Tom Bilyeu, and I was fortunate to spend some time with him. And he said that his team get really kind of worried when things go wrong. And he's an amazing man. He said, I keep saying to them, that's where you get all the juice from. That's where you get all the learnings from. That's where what did he say? It's the mistakes we make are the wisdom we get from them. Well, they're the things that we can learn from the best. So sometimes it's just good to look at them and say, what lessons did I learn? And again, I just want to remind you, this might be your health, your fitness, your finances, your business, intimate relationship. I haven't mentioned that yet. Personal development, spiritual development, family, home, travel, purpose, vision, emotional health, mental resilience. What lessons did I learn? What do I need to let go of? What did I hold on to? All those things that we just can get great lessons from. Now, thanks, Sanj. Now we come to next year. So we've reflected on last year. Raise your hand if you found that helpful. Good, because I can honestly tell you that's the tough bit to do. The rest is plain sailing. Because when we're prepared to look back and reflect, yes, we had magic moments, yes, we had achievements, but sometimes we need to look and go, yeah, but like I didn't perform at a 10 or at least a 9 or 8 in that role that's very important to me in life, or I had disappointments or I had lessons. So what we're going to do now is go to the next. What most significant new roles do you want to play in 2020? What most significant new roles do you want to play in 2020? And this is where I sat at the back of the room, and I remember thinking to myself, I've got to be honest. I need to be honest. I need to tell myself how important it is for me. So I wrote 2 things, only 2, because I knew that I would need the same level of energy, the same energy levels through health and fitness, the same energy levels through great thoughts. I knew I needed to work on the whole person. I needed to create my environment. I did lots of things, which I'll come back to if we have time. I will tell you more about that. but I sat at the back of the room and I wrote wife, and I wrote Tony Robbins trainer. At the time I was working as a coach for Tony, and I wanted the very exclusive role of a trainer, because you can't apply for that role, you have to be invited. And interestingly, they invite people who show up. And not just for an hour, not just at an event, but consistently. And I knew, this was January, I knew there was no way on earth, because I tell you how I knew that that was not going to happen unless I made significant change in my life. I knew because I could tell that my energy wasn't high enough. How did I tell? I'd get to the end of an event and I'd be so tired because I'd used what Tony shared with you this morning. I used so much adrenaline and cortisol, yes? Tony? Yeah. Cortisol to get myself into the right energy that I was so tired at the end. So guess what I did at the end of an event? Drank. Yes. I'd celebrate with lots of alcohol, which just made it worse, right? So there I was in January going, those are the significance. Do I dare to dream that that's possible for me in 1 year? Do I dare to dream that? And I wrote it down. So what most significant new roles do you want to play? Is this father, husband, wife, mom? Is it leader? Is it manager? Is it entrepreneur? Is it do your own thing, have your own business? Is it reach 6 figures? Is it reach 7 figures? What is it? What is the new role? And what would you call it? I'm real simplistic. I just went wife and trainer. I knew what I meant by that. So what new roles do you want to play? Everybody got at least 1 or 2? Yeah? Cool. What are your top 3 goals for each role? What are your top 3 goals? What do we mean by that? We all know what we mean by goals, but this is like, I suppose the old SMART thing, needs to be measurable. It was easy for me. It was married and a trainer. That was it. I tried to keep it real simple. So I would urge you to try and keep this real simple. Get 1 or 2 or 3 if you like to have more, but keep your goals real simple. And just to give you an example with me, with the getting married, being a wife, I'd had some seriously not good relationships. And I'd learned a lot. I'd learned a lot of lessons, as I said. And so my outcome, my goal, was not just to be in any old relationship. It was to be in one that was, and I remember because I decided to have an incantation for it. Everybody knows what I mean, like an affirmation, incantation, something you say out loud. And I chose some words. I said passionate, zinging. I don't know where zinging came from. Passionate, zinging, easy, right? Yes, loving and caring, that's a given. But I could feel what that meant. So I knew what that felt like in myself, and those were my goals. So what are your top 3 goals for each role? This is why it's handy if you haven't got too many. So, what happened, before we go on to the next question, is that then the guy, now I've got his name, Mike Page, I knew it would come to me, he stood at the front of the room and he took shares from the audience as to what they learnt so far from the review of that last year, but also what were the new roles, because none of us had come across this philosophy of looking at roles, okay? And so he took shares, which is what I'm going to do now. So who here would like to share? And the reason why I want to share with you is because have you heard or you to share, have you heard the philosophy that when you speak it out loud, I've heard Nick talk about it, You know, I tell people, he put it on Facebook, I'm going to go drive for a year. You know, you tell somebody. So if you're sitting there thinking, this is a very private thing, that's exactly what happened to me at the back of the room. And Mike took a couple of shares from the room, and because I was well known, he went, Nikki Brannan, what are your new roles? Oh my God, did I not want to share? I seriously did not want to share. First of all, I thought, they're going to think I'm weird, going, I want to be married by the end of the year. I mean, like crazy. And then they're going to think I'm big-headed or arrogant because I think I'm good enough to become a trainer for Tony Robbins. And I didn't want to share. And then a little voice said inside of me things that I'd learned, which was, if you put it out there, a bit like Nick was saying earlier about being, what was the word? Extreme, yeah? You put it out there. If you're willing to share with people and you're in a safe environment here to share, kind of esoteric, pre-frame esoteric, could it be possible that somehow the universe gets it? And it brings it towards you. I can see some of you nodding. Most of the women, the men are going, yeah, you've gone too far now, right? But it's like, you know, it's like, could it be possible? So who here wants to make a statement about the new roles they're going to play? So, gentleman right at the back.
Yeah, hi, it's
It's
Mike.
Mr. Mike Besant.
Thank you for making me famous. Wow. Yeah, basically I didn't come here this weekend to give up booze, chocolate, crisps and adult entertainment, but I now have.
Wow. Fantastic. Who else? Maxine. I'm going to tell you about Maxine in a minute. Nicola.
I'm Nicola Howard, and I want to be more visible. So I want to be a thought leader, and I want to be a television and radio guest expert, and I want to be a six-figure business owner.
Very nice, very nice. Nice. Who else? Who else? Gentlemen, yes. This one, fine. Yeah, just take a few.
Hi there. I've had a really tough few years for various reasons, and I've got to make massive changes in my life in many directions. So I'm aiming to do that. I have no idea what that's going to be, but I'm just got to jump off the cliff and make things happen.
I like it.
There you go.
And if there was a word to describe, you thought he was going to get away with it then, and I don't. If there was a word to describe that role, so here's what I understand, is that if we can cement it in with one word, then as we have that thought, we understand it. So if there was a word to describe the role you know you must step into, what would it be?
Transformed comes to mind. Would
Yeah.
that be right? Or
Sounds good to me. Does it
Yeah.
sound right to you? Is it to be transformed or to
yeah, to transform.
transform, like a transformer? Isn't that some sort of big guy
maybe
thing?
So just radically different from what's been before.
Fantastic, fantastic.
Okay.
Lady here, and then I'll come to Ryan. Lady, oh, gorgeous hair, love it.
I've got a few. My name's Karen Roberts. I want to be a better mum.
Okay. Can I ask you what score you gave yourself?
Mum, well, a 6.
Okay.
Yes, been
What's
very
in the gap, honey?
the gap time
Yeah,
and holidays. So that's a big one.
very nice.
Better friend. I've been hiding last year. I'm going to cry.
Yeah, very nice,
A lot of changes.
very nice.
And I want to be a speaker.
Nice.
I launched my speaking career in November, so I want to progress with that and to be a 6-figure coach.
Very, very nice. Very nice. Yes, give her a hand. I shared with you that I gave myself a 7.5 about my mom, and that was about time. And it was about being kind. And it was also about not trying. Because sometimes we try too hard. We need to allow ourselves to be who we are. You're doing great. Gentleman there, Mr. Ryan Brazier, making people famous.
I want to get at least an extra 30 homeless people off the streets and into a nice, safe home.
That's nice. That's nice. Thank you. So yeah, I went up to the front of the stage and I just shared those two things. And people were coming to me in the break going, I didn't even know you were dating anyone. I went, I'm not. And actually, just as interesting, so I set my goals for my two, and funny enough, they were other things than the role. So my goals were to get fit and healthy so that I was in the best energy for become wife. So that I went to an event and wasn't, like ill afterwards because of all the adrenaline I was running about an event. So it's like, so think about those three goals, and if you haven't had time now, some of you might want some more time to look at them. Think about, what is my goal? It may not be the same as the role, you get what I mean. So this was January, I was telling you, and I got to about, I think now it's probably April or May, and I was doing well, right? I was getting fit, and I was eating really healthy. I'd given up a lot of the addictions, and I was getting fit, but nothing had actually come, okay? And rather than get downhearted, I decided to take action. So I went on a course to find my soulmate, right? And I went on this course, and one of the things was you had to write your vision for what your soulmate was like. And there was an amazing woman who ran that course, and her name's Maxine Clancy, and that is Maxine Clancy right there. And she's, of course, now a relationship and divorce coach, so there you go. Go and talk to her if you need some help on that.
Thank you.
But yeah, I remember writing this vision, which was just part of me. So the point I'm making there is not to really just bring it all to intimate relationships, because, by the way, as a woman, as men will know, any chance we get to bring it back to intimate relationships, we take it. I just knew that I had to take some action. I couldn't just put my goal out there. I couldn't just put my intention out there and expect it to just come to me. I had to work on myself and get myself in a great space. So we've got top 3 goals for each role. And, as I say, just get the gist of it, and then you can start to think, what else? What targets have I got? Where do I want to be? So with me, it was like weight, it was size, it was like, I wanted the size 10 trousers and, all that sort of thing. And it was like being alcohol free, and it was like running, and it was all those kind of things. I set myself some great goals, but it was about the role I wanted to play, and that was why it was really important. So, and the next question is, what are your top 5 overall goals for this year? And one of the things I often do with my clients is I say, look, yes, of course we can answer that question from the head. And the thing about this kind of process is you have choice. You might do this from like a superficial level, where you go, well, clearly, if I haven't got a car, it's my goal to have a car. If I haven't got a house, and maybe I want to own my own house, that's more like a superficial level. One of the things I really like to do is to vision. So before you write, and if you started to write, that's fine. I'm just going to ask Sanj to put some music on, and let's just close our eyes and see what we can see is possible. So what we'll do is we'll go forward 12 months from now and imagine how we would want it to look in 12 months' time. So Sanj, if you just have some music. So let's go forward 12 months from now. And how would it be if we just allowed ourselves to see what comes into our vision? So rather than be in our head and think what we'd like it to look like, What does it look like? Where might we be living? Who might be in our lives that isn't in our lives today? What would we feel? What do you want to feel like? What do we feel like 12 months from now? What do we feel like in our body? What are our beliefs? What are we believing about life that we didn't believe 12 months ago? What are we saying to ourselves that we've never heard ourselves say to ourselves before? What are people saying to us that we've never heard them say to us before? See yourself living that role. See yourself living that role, number one. See yourself achieving the goals. Feel the feeling in your body that you would feel when you've stepped into that new role, when that goal is achieved. And then as you just gently come back to the room and maybe just take some notes of what you saw. So it's a new sort of goal setting. We just vision, allow ourselves to dream of what we couldn't before even imagine could happen. Something that we can't ever imagine how it's going to happen, but that's none of our business, how it's delivered. It's only our job to set the intention and to see it in our mind's eye, feel it in ourselves, hold it in our heart. Just capturing that as best we can. And maybe when we're at home, we might want to, for those of you I know who like to treasure map or dream board, or maybe you just get some pictures that you use on your screensaver that brings that to life in front of you every single day. So just capturing that as quickly as we can, and maybe you might want to come back to that at some point. So there's a great saying, we have to have a big enough why. There has to be a reason, there has to be a purpose to this. Otherwise it's just a want. It's just a goal, it's just a like. Why are you absolutely committed to these goals? What will it give you? What will it give others? What will it cause you to experience that you've never experienced before? How will it make a difference to others? See their faces. Is that your family, or it's clients, or it's friends, or it's... See them receiving you at your 10 out of 10 best. In great energy. In green energy. Why are you absolutely committed? What's the big reason? What's the big why? Because it's the big why that will help us when we have those moments when it's difficult. When we have those moments when we don't want to get up in the morning and do what we've set out to do. Those are the big why is the thing that will help us overcome the challenges. And the next question, how can you be certain that you will achieve them? Now that might mean something different to everyone. How can you be certain? So the state of certainty is something that we feel in every cell in our body. I'm certain, I have a knowing that I'm going to achieve these goals. How can you be certain? And if you're finding that difficult, let me ask you, what's your level of certainty on a scale of 0 to 10, 0 being no certainty at all, and 10 being totally certain, what number are you at? And it doesn't matter what number you're at, because then all we've got to do is see what's in the gap. See what's holding you back. See what's causing you not to be at the level of certainty or belief. That's the only problem. Anything can be achieved as long as we understand what gets in our way, what causes us to not be who we really are. So how can you be absolutely certain? I love this one. Who could you add to your peer group to help you achieve them? Who could you add to your peer group to help you achieve those top 5 goals, to achieve those roles? There's loads of research, loads of things proven. There's the old adage, team, together everyone achieves more. It's true. Who can you add to your peer group? You heard Nick say, the people you spend time with is who you become. Do you remember that one? The people you spend time with. So who would you add to your peer group so that you know that you're going to achieve those? Because that person's going to assist you. They're going to support you. They're going to be there for you when it's tough. Who could you add to your peer group? And think outside the box here. When Tony was doing this like last year, he added a guy that we know who's a trance medium. I don't know whether you're familiar with that term. And he goes into a trance and speaks as a spirit guide. His name's White Feather. So Tony announced to us, I'm adding White Feather to my peer group. And he's been amazing. We've been meeting with him and we're just... So, think outside the box was the only reason for sharing that with you. And maybe it's somebody you've always admired, but you just haven't had the guts to get in touch with them, say, can I understand how you've achieved that? Can I understand what your beliefs are that I could model? So who could you add to your peer group? What daily rituals do you need to commit to? Somewhere in your psyche, you know that there are certain things that you need to do each day in order for all your goals and roles at a 10 to be experienced. You know there's some daily rituals. And there's so many different options. Meditation, contemplation, exercise. So when something becomes a daily ritual, becomes like cleaning our teeth or showering, it becomes part of us. It becomes part of our identity. And when our identity becomes solid and strong, everything works better. So what have you always known should be in your daily ritual? Because we all know really what we should be doing, don't we? So So what do you know in your heart of hearts that you should be adding to your daily rituals so that, again, you have the energy to achieve those goals. You have the beliefs to achieve your goals, whatever that is. I remember, during my year, my daily ritual was to rebound on a mini rebounder and say my incantations. I'm in a passionate, zinging, loving, crazy relationship with a man who's so on his purpose. A master in his own field, I wrote at Maxine's event. Never thought that would be tropical fish. Or now, Tony wrote a book called Multiple Orgasms with Ease and Elegance. He's an expert. I hope Nick's not listening. It's available on Amazon. Multiple Orgasms with Ease and Elegance. It's for the girls. It's to teach the men. Yes, sorry. Completely off tangent there. I've gone all pink now. So what daily rituals, I can't even say it now, do you need to commit to? But that's good. Laughter's good. Tony and I went on a laughter course. Music. Maybe a daily ritual is just to listen to some great music. My friend Sanj produces great music. Thank you. Okay, what do you need to stop doing? We're on the home straight now. Only one more question. What do you need to stop doing? Often when I'm with clients, they'll give me all sorts of I need to do this and I need to do that. And I go, what do you need to stop doing? What do you need to let go of? What are you holding on to that you don't need anymore? The other thing I did during that year, and here's the interesting thing. Do you remember Tony saying about me being an 88? September, by the way, by the time I got to an 88, I was nowhere near an 88 in January. The other thing we both had in common was during that year, we had cleared all our clutter. Both of us. He was in Croydon, I was in Birmingham. We only met a couple of times in the summer and then got together in September. Literally, I had someone come and help me clear my clutter. I got rid of 75% of my clothes, shoes and handbags included. Wow. I met someone in the States. They said, you look great. I said, not as good as you. She said, I'm in this incredible relationship. My business is going great. I'm doing really, really well. She said, because I came across this theory that if you get rid of all your clutter, things you don't need anymore, things you're never going to need, and if you need them, buy them again, right? And she said, I've made space in my life for what I want to bring into my life. Whoa. That was huge for me. So I did it. I'm a good student. Tell me what to do, I'll do it. And I believed it would work. I knew that if I made space, that everything would come into my life that I wanted. And the last one. Who do you need to become to live this way? Because in order to live the roles we want to live, in order to have the experiences we want to have, in order to be experiencing those things that we just visioned or the things we know we want to have during this year, we may need to become the new version of ourselves. One of Einstein's sayings, the thinking, strategies, beliefs, and behaviors that got you to this very minute are not the thinking, strategies, beliefs, and behaviors that are going to get you to where you want to be. Einstein. So somewhere in everything that we've done in the last hour, there will be some new beliefs I'm trusting. There'll be some new behaviors. There'll be some new strategies. There needs to be some new thinking so that everything that we have written or visioned or thought about can come to us. Who do we need to become to live that way? So in September, I went to Kuala Lumpur, and I'll have to tell you the story next time, but I finished up, I'm going to just give you the highlights. I finished up sharing a room with this man. You're going, what? It's the kind of thing we do in that environment. We go, yeah, do you want to share? I just opened my big trap and went, do you want to share a room? He went, sure. Then I got to the hotel and I went, it's okay, you can have your own room, it's really cheap. And he went, no, I'd rather share with you. 2 days later, we got together. 2 days later. A week and a half later, I was in the wonderful Ibis in Earl's Court at a Tony Robbins event, working as a coach, and I became a trainer for Tony Robbins. And we all went out and celebrated. Thank you very much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. But I tell you that just to share that this works. I wish for you everything you dream of. I wish for you everything you visioned. I wish for you everything you think of on the way home. I wish for you every single dream, every single goal, every single role that you want. I applaud you for everything you're going to achieve in this year. Thank you very much.